Welcome to this 90-minute Yin Yoga class for deep relaxation. If you have props at home, you might use them for this routine, but if you don't worry, you can still do these poses, no problem. The only time you will need a prop is for supported fish pose. If you have a yoga block, you can use that. Otherwise, you can just grab a nice firm pillow or a cushion or something like that that you'll be able to place behind your shoulders. So let's start this routine in reclined butterfly. I'm going to use my bolster for this pose, placing it underneath my knees. There are other ways to use the bolster. If you have one, you can place it lengthways on the mat to support your spine. Or you could take a yoga block or the bolster and put it underneath your hips. And if you're not using props, that's fine. Just come on down to lie on your back. When you're there, bring the soles of your feet together. Don't force your knees down. Just let them be wherever they are. Even if that's floating up in the air, that's okay. The further away you have your feet from your body, the less intense this will feel. So find whatever works for you. And then focus on flattening your back to the earth. Again, without forcing anything, rather just encouraging everything to get heavy. Relax your shoulders. Loosen your jaw. And soften your face. We'll stay in reclined butterfly for 5 minutes in total. Find your breath wherever it is in your body. You don't have to force anything. Rather, just try to observe your breath as it comes in and out. Throughout the entire 90-minute practice, your breath is going to act as an anchor for your mind. Each time you notice that you're thinking, try your best to come back to your breath. All you need to do is follow it in and out. Nothing fancy. We'll be in the pose for about 1 more minute. So take this opportunity to loosen up your shoulders again. Make your body heavy and flat to the earth. And if your mind drifted off during that pose, that is very natural and human. Don't worry about it. But try your best to come back to your breath for the remainder of the hold now. Take a few more breaths. When you're ready, slowly lift your knees back together. You might widen your feet and allow your knees to rest against each other here. And just pause, feeling the effects of the pose. There's no rush to do so, but when you're ready, slowly peel yourself off of the mat. Making your way back up into a seat. And the next pose that we'll practice is straddle pose. So you're sitting on the mat with your feet wide apart. You don't have to force anything, just go to that first point of resistance. You can sit up on your bolster or a yoga block or a cushion here to make this pose more accessible. You might keep yoga blocks nearby if you are using them. You might find that it's nice to rest your forehead onto your blocks once you're down in the pose. You're welcome to keep a bend in your knees, that's no problem. You can even have the soles of your feet on the floor if you need to. Let's take a moment to lengthen through the spine and then rotate over towards your right leg. From here, we'll slowly walk the hands forward, dropping the nose towards the right knee. And keep your feet slightly active here. They're not just flopped like dead pieces of meat. Sorry for that imagery, but they're also not really tense. They're just active somewhere in the middle. And we'll stay here for 5 minutes. So just go to your first edge, that point where you naturally stop, and don't force anything. Yin Yoga is about accepting and surrendering, not about forcing or pushing. With time, you might notice that your body starts to open up a little bit and it might invite you to go to that next edge. And then you could drop your nose a little bit lower. Maybe walk your hands further away from you. Tap into the sensations that you're feeling as a result of being in this pose. Maybe you feel sensations in your lower back on the left side. Maybe you feel things within your right leg. And there's nothing to do but observe your breath and the sensations in your body. And a reminder here that you can use your yoga blocks to rest your forehead onto. And we'll be here for about 1 more minute. Focus on your breath and on the sensations of your body. And take your last breath or two for this side of the pose. And when you're ready, you can push the ground away from you. Slowly coming back up towards that straight spine. And just pause for a moment, perhaps noticing the difference within the two sides of your body. And now we'll take it to the other side. So lengthen up through your spine again, rotate towards the left, and then slowly fold over your left leg. And same thing again here, feet are active. You're not forcing anything. And here we'll remind ourselves of the second principle of Yin Yoga, which is stillness. So with the exception of pain or extreme discomfort, or to go deeper into the pose, try your best to stay still. Don't allow fidgeting. And try to still your mind as well. Don't allow those thoughts to invade. Of course, that is so hard to do. But as soon as you notice yourself thinking, come back to your breath, back to the sensations that you feel in your body. We'll be spending about 1 more minute in the pose. So again, use this as a reminder to come back to your body, back to your breath. You are the quiet observer of everything. You don't have to be involved in it right now. Simply witness. Take your last breath or two here. And once again, push the ground away from you, slowly coming back up. And we'll release straddle with some windshield wipers so you can ask your feet to come back together. Lean back on your hands, keep your legs bent, and then drop your knees slowly from side to side. Each inhale might lift your knees, and each exhale will gently drop them down. The next pose that we'll practice is supported fish pose. So this is where you will need a prop of some sort. If you're using yoga blocks, you can just place one of them on the mat so it will be behind your shoulder blades. For extra support for your neck, you can have a second yoga block or a cushion resting behind it to support your head. And if you are using a bolster here, it can be nice to have that bolster behind your knees again, or maybe underneath your hips. And if you're not using a yoga block, or if you don't have one, this is where you can place that cushion behind your back. So we want to lay back slowly onto the block, trying to align the edge of the block with the bottom of our shoulder blades. But there's no real right or wrong here. It's whatever feels good for you. And then you're aiming to bring the crown of your head onto the mat. Or if that feels a little bit too intense, just rest the back of your head onto a cushion or a block. And feel free to fidget and adjust until you find that Goldilocks position for your props. Allow your arms to go wide, taking up as much space as they need. We'll stay here in fish pose for the next 5 minutes. And here in this pose, you can really open up your lungs, release any blockages from your chest and your throat. So as always, try your best to focus on your breath. Try to become really well acquainted with all the sensations you can feel around your chest and your spine. And then I'll let you know when it's time to release the pose. Take your last few breaths in fish pose, anchoring your awareness into your body, onto your breath. Now move really slowly, first tucking your chin towards your chest, peeling yourself up off of your prop, and then slowly roll your spine back down onto the mat. Feeling the echo of the pose here in Shavasana for the next minute. You can bring a little bit of movement back into your body. The next pose that we'll practice is Sphinx Pose. So you can just flip over onto the front of your body, removing your bolster from behind your legs if that's where it is. And we'll hold Sphinx for the next 5 minutes. If you want to go deeper in this pose, of course, you can do Seal Pose. And if you want to use your bolster, you can place it lengthways across your mat and have it in underneath your rib cage and chest. You can measure the distance between your elbows by clasping them with opposite hands. Bring your forearms back onto the mat. Spread your fingers nice and wide so you're touching as much as the earth as possible. Again, here your legs are active. They're not just flopped onto the mat. They're not tense either, but they're active, gently pressing into the ground. You can look straight ahead or gaze diagonally down at your mat. Try to relax your shoulders away from your ears, avoiding that squishiness around them. We'll be here for 2 more minutes. Use this as your opportunity to come back if you need it. Bring your mind back to your body. Press everything into the earth ever so gently and focus on your breath. In a moment, we'll prepare to come out of the pose. So if you're using a bolster, you can remove it and then slowly come down into crocodile pose, making a pillow with your hands. Bring your big toes to touch each other and then rest either your forehead or one of your cheeks onto your hands. And we'll rest here for 1 minute. Slowly come out of crocodile pose, bringing yourself back up towards a seat on your mat. The next pose that we'll practice is saddle pose. And we'll do a reclined version. For some people, reclining might not happen, and that's okay. You're still getting the same benefits out of the pose. It's just meeting you where you are. So some options for reclined saddle would be to have your bolster ready to support your spine. You can also sit up on another cushion or a yoga block just to elevate your hips and make the pose a little bit more accessible. If you want to put your bolster on a tilt or a slant, of course you can do that by placing the yoga blocks under one end of it. So for me, it works better when I don't elevate my hips. For you, that might not be the case. We want to have our legs either side of our hips as best as possible. If you need to sit on your feet here, that's okay. You can do that with your toes relatively together. So here we'll stay for a moment, starting to feel that sensation within our quad muscles. Also, of course, stretching through the ankles here. We want to be very mindful of our knees. If we're feeling any pain, then of course that's a signal to come out of the pose. To make saddle less intense, you can straighten one of your legs, doing half saddle, and then I'll let you know when we're halfway through the hold so you can switch to the other leg. Now, if everything is feeling good here and your body is inviting you to go to that next edge, you can use your hands for support behind you and then slowly bring your elbows onto the mat and eventually come to rest your entire back onto your bolster. If you want to go deeper into this pose, you can bring your arms up above your head. Otherwise, just bring your hands to wherever they want to rest. And we'll be here for 5 minutes. As I mentioned, I'll let you know when we're halfway through if you need to switch to the other leg. We're halfway through the hold now. If you are in half saddle, you can straighten out your other leg now. And together, let's bring our awareness back to our breath and back to the sensations we're feeling. Take your last few breaths in saddle pose now. And we'll start to think about coming out of the pose. If you feel as though you need a crane to lift you out of the pose, that is normal. If you're panicking, thinking you're here forever, that is also normal. Just take your time. Lift your head, prop yourself onto your elbows, and slowly peel yourself back up. And you can release your legs however you feel called to do. And maybe you're just feeling called to be still on the mat, and that's fine too. We'll just spend a moment here doing whatever you need to do. The next pose that we'll practice is Shoelace Pose. So as always, you can be sitting on a yoga block or a cushion for this pose. We'll begin by straightening out the legs in front of us, and then bring your right foot across to the outside of your left hip. Your left leg can stay long for half shoelace, but if you want to go that bit deeper, you can also bend your left knee. So now your left foot is beside your right hip. As always, wiggle around, fidget, adjust, do what you need to do. Make sure you're not sitting on your feet. And we'll stay in shoelace for 5 minutes. So let's take some time to relax the shoulders, loosen the jaw, soften your face. Find your breath and keep sending it down into the bowl of your pelvis. Each inhalation might shine a light on that tension or any cobwebs that are caught up around your hips. But simply by shining a light on it will help to loosen it up. And then your exhale will carry it out of your body. For the last minute in Shoelace, we'll incorporate a twist, helping to gently squeeze the spine and massage the liver. So you can bring your right hand behind you and then hook your left arm to this top knee. Inhale to lengthen your spine and exhale to rotate from the base of your spine through your mid-spine into your upper spine and neck. So eventually you're looking back over your right shoulder. Let's make our way back to center and unravel the legs. You can release the pose with some windshield wipers. Now we'll repeat on the opposite side. So straighten out your legs again. This time bring your left foot to the outside of your right hip and your right foot maybe to the outside of the left hip. Alternatively, keep this bottom leg straight. Again, make sure you're not sitting on your feet. Wiggle and adjust, and then commit to stillness as best you can in the pose for the next 4 minutes, and then we'll take it into a twist. Let's come into that twist now by bringing the left hand behind us, right arm hooks to the top knee. Inhale to lengthen and slowly, one vertebrae at a time, rotate to the left. Come back and once again unravel your legs. Release the pose with some windshield wipers, either sitting or lying on the mat. The next pose that we'll practice is Reclined Swan. You can begin by bringing your right ankle onto your left thigh. Gently press that right knee away from you, and then come to hold your left knee either underneath or in front of the knee to go that bit deeper. Wherever you are, remember, Yin Yoga is about accepting and surrendering, not forcing or pushing. We'll be 5 minutes in Reclined Swan. So once again, try to flatten your back towards the earth, as if you're trying to touch as much of the earth as possible with your skin. Connect to your breath and feel all the sensations of this pose. We'll be here for about 1 more minute, focusing on your breath, on your body. You are the witness here. Slowly release the pose. And you can either rest your knees against each other or do some windshield wipers again. All the while feeling the echo of the pose in your body. We'll repeat on the opposite side, bringing your left ankle onto your right thigh and then holding the right knee. Flatten your back to the earth. Rest your jaw in your face. Take your last few breaths here in this pose. And then you can unravel once again. You might feel called to release the pose with some windshield wipers, or you might find that stillness serves you more here. So do whatever you need to do for the next minute. We'll come into happy baby pose now. So you can bring your knees towards your chest, make them wider than your torso. Have your hands in between your knees and come to hold either your shins or the outside or inside of your feet. And then feet come parallel to the sky. At first, you might enjoy just gently rocking side to side, massaging your spine and your back. But then commit to stillness. We'll stay in happy baby for 5 minutes. If happy baby feels too intense, you can practice half happy baby by just having one foot in one hand at one time. I'll let you know when we're halfway through the hold so then you can switch to the opposite side. We're halfway through the hold now. If you need to switch to the opposite leg, do that now. And wherever you are, you might think again about flattening your back to the earth. Relax your jaw, your face, your shoulders. Connect to your breath. Your belly has lots of room to expand here in this pose. And feel each tiny sensation that both your breath and the pose is bringing into your body. Now you can release happy baby. Again, do whatever you're called to do in this minute. Now we'll do a reclined twist. So for this practice, I invite you to come into twisted roots, but you can do whichever version or whichever reclined twist works best for you. If you're using a bolster, you could place your bolster underneath your hips for this pose. And we'll begin by bringing the right leg over the left. And then we'll create 2 twists. So the first is at the knees, and then the second twist might come from your right foot, twisting around your left shin. Then from here, very gently stack your hips on top of each other, bringing your right hip over your left. We'll extend both arms out wide, left to right, and use your arms like levers here. We want to encourage both shoulders to stay on the mat. So only twist as much as your right shoulder allows you to. And if you want to go deeper into this pose, you can look over towards the right. And we'll stay here for 5 minutes. If you start to feel numbness or tingling within your arms, bring them down a bit closer to your body. Within twisted roots, you might find that your breath is a little bit constricted. You have to consciously breathe deeply to get your breath all the way down into your belly. So keep focusing on your breath. Become acquainted with all these sensations arising from this twist in your body. It's not often we get to twist like this, so really try to savor each little sensation. start to come out of the twist really slowly. And we'll go straight into the opposite side. Wrapping your left leg around your right. And then stacking your left hip over your right. Both shoulders stay connected to the ground. And to go deeper this time, you can look over to the left. Take your last few breaths in the pose. Now make your way back to center, unraveling your legs. You might counter those poses by bringing your knees to your chest. Give yourself a hug to release your lower back. You might also like to make circles with your knees. And whenever you feel ready to come into Shavasana, please do that now. If you're using props, you might place the bolster underneath your knees. Make sure you're nice and warm and comfortable. So allow yourself to take up as much space as you need. Let your body completely go now, just surrendering your weight into the earth. Relax your shoulders, your arms, your hips. Relax your back, your belly. Release your hips into the earth. Relax your legs. Relax your feet. Loosen up your jaw. Soften your face. And relax your head into the earth. Your entire body is heavy and relaxed. And the longer you stay here, the more you feel yourself just dropping into the ground. And stay here in this state of deep relaxation. Towards the end of the hold, you'll hear the sound of the singing bowl. And that will signal the end of our practice and that you can slowly come back up into a seat. Thank you so much for joining me for this 90-minute Yin Yoga practice, and well done for completing it. It's not easy to set aside 90 minutes to do yoga, but you did it, so well done. So thank you so much again for doing this practice. Leave it a little thumbs up below if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'd love to practice with you again in the future. Until then, though, take good care of yourself and goodbye.